Alright, today I'm gonna be working on something awesome. I'm gonna be giving you guys the most biggest life hack life has ever hacked in life. Alright, so let's go on this side. As we all know, Civics are always known for this stupidness right here. See this ugly crust? And you'll never find a nice pair. Even at the yard, if you go to the junkyard, they're always all gonna be like this, unless if it was garage kept. There's no way. Now, what guys would usually do to try to restore these is two ways. One, buy new ones, which if you haven't really looked, they're like $100 on eBay for brand new OEM ones, which is like a whole ass bag. I ain't trying to do that, right? I would if I had the money, but obviously, if we own a Civic, we don't have money. Okay. The second option is guys would put like a wrap over these, like a black one, matte one, and usually leaving all the crust under it, so you could see, like, if you look closely, all the freaking little bumps from all the dried up freaking rubber crusting off. And then also, like, you'd have to really take your time, because you'd have to, if you want it to look nice, you'd have to remove all this garbage. But let's just say I made a way. What? Beautiful. Let's talk about where this thing came from. Focus. Okay. This came from a 7th generation Civic, a 2-door specifically. And those are obviously newer, so they tend to have nicer trims. It's still a bit of a hit or miss. Some of them are still crusted and stuff, but you can find them like this, which is awesome. These are slightly different, so I'm gonna show you guys what we gotta do to basically get them onto here, and then I'm gonna go through all the process with the different side, so you guys can kind of do step by step. Basically, if we take a look, this is the original. So I only mess with this side just to make sure if it actually works, and obviously yes, it works. So here's the other one that I'm going to be showing you guys how to turn into basically that, because there is a bit of modifications that you have to do. You put them side to side. As you can see, the newer one is longer. There's a flat end, and then there's an end with a cut, right? So this is the one that's pointing forward towards the front of the car. This is going to be the side that points to the back. And as you can see, it does the same thing with this one. It's cut. So what we're having to do is cut that chunk off this end, the flat side, and then afterwards we're going to have to trim this cutout right here to be as long as that cutout. And then once we're done with that, it's basically good to go on the car. Now, when you come across these, if you go to the junkyard to look for them, keep the clips, which are these white ones, because they are slightly different than the original. As you can see, the original has 2 flaps, and it's a bit longer from the inside. And the newer one is only a single flap, and it's shorter from this side. So you're gonna need to keep the original clips and bring extras, because you are gonna be breaking them, or at least try to get some extra ones from the junkyard, because when you pull them off, they tend to basically break. So what else is there? I'm gonna show you guys how to basically clean these up. So obviously that's the first step. Clean them up, make them look new, because right now, as you can see, it's very nasty and dirty. And I'm gonna make it look as nice as this one right here. So for cleaning, what I basically did is I used shampoo, and I washed all this like felt area with it, and I scrubbed it with a toothbrush. Basically this whole entire thing is just, you're just gonna have to scrub it with shampoo and toothbrush, and then make sure to get in between here if it focuses. There's a lot of dirt and debris from it. Here's the last trick to restoring these after you clean them very well and thoroughly. This is the trick right here. Sanding sponges. So I have 1,000 to start off and then 2,000 to finish. So this is just to get rid of all like the surface scratches and like the little all the little marks that it has just from age, and then basically makes it look like a nice fresh piece of rubber. So all you have to do is just side to side scraping with 1,000 until you're satisfied, and then you finish it off with 2,000 just to kind of give it a nicer, smoother finish. We're gonna try to remove this old one to get it out of the way. I'm still not too sure what the trick is to get it off. All I've been doing is kind of pushing in the bottom and kind of making it pry off like that. That's kind of the way I've been doing it. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention, I do remove this thing. It's pretty easy to take off. It's just 3 screws that go one right there, and then one at the bottom. And then afterwards, if you look closely, it tucks in under the belt. So you gotta kind of shimmy it out, and there you go. Now it's off. Makes it easier to kind of grab and pry up at the thing. So to take this thing off, it's just like how I said. There's not really much of a trick to it. Figuring it out right now. Basically, it's just you grab it and then you pry it and then you push in with your thumb while you're pulling back. And then afterwards, this side's gonna get stuck. So what you're gonna have to do is you gotta pull it out of that area because it's tucked in right under the side mirror. But yeah, I did it, and I didn't break any clips, which is surprising because this thing's old. Okay, so we have it all nice and cleaned up now. You can see. So again, you gotta line them up. I'm gonna put them on the floor, and then I'm gonna put a piece of masking tape off of where I need to cut. So remember, it's the flat side that you need to cut off, not this side. Okay, flat side. So I'm gonna get the masking tape on, and what I'm gonna be using is a Dremel with a cutting bit to get this thing off. Okay, so I got it perfectly taped off now where I need to cut it. And when you're cutting, you always want to cut a little extra more so that at the end you just file it down to the perfect size. This is the end cut off, and as you can see, it's a bit ugly. So we're gonna get to filing and clean this up. And this is after filing, so it looks all nice and clean now. Make sure you file super flat too. You don't want to have it like crooked or anything. Okay, so the next step is focusing on this side now. This one's a little trickier to cut into just because of the shape of the whole thing. You have to get the Dremel in there. But yeah, just basically just cutting like this way and then this way. Removing that little square chunk off just so that it's the same size as this. Okay, so now it's ready to go in the car. It's nice and cut to size. So we'll just slip the clips in and then clip it all back into the car. Okay, cleaned up the nice line. Dang, you can see how nice the paint used to be. Now it's all ugly and faded. You'll be painted one day, don't worry. It's okay. Anyways, it's nice and clean. So now it's time to put the belt on. Okay, so got it going in. Gotta first fit it over here, tuck it under there, and then from there clip it down. So it's just literally just clicking and pressing down. I can just get it to line up. There you go. And then you should hear a couple clicks, and it's nice and in now. Look at that difference. Hold on. There you go. Look at that difference. Beautiful. It's perfect. Okay. So this is the thing that I was talking about. Here, let me see. You see how the flap is kind of interfering with this one? So I might cut it shorter so that it doesn't interfere and it allows the flap to fully engage towards the window. Because As you can see, it's pulling it back. So I'm probably going to do that to both sides. All it is just cutting the inner flap, not the actual like metal or anything. It's just with some scissors just going in there. Okay, so I cut it and now it has a clearance. I did just 1/4 of an inch away, but do that cut before you put the trim back on because I had to remove it again in order to get access to that little corner. So 1/4 of an inch away and just the flap, nothing else, only the flap. Okay, here's the last step. After finally getting it all nice and perfect, as you can see, super awesome. To make it look nice, we use this thing right here. So it's used for vinyl, leather, and rubber. And it basically restores it and like kind of rehydrates it almost. So yeah, I'm just gonna squirt some on a little towel and then just wipe it down. So just to kind of look at it before and after. So this is how it's like right now. It's not too bad, but it looks a little dry. So let's get this on. It wasn't too big of a difference, but it's just a little darker, so it's enough where I could appreciate it. So yeah, here's the final results. Fits perfectly. Even though it's not for this car, it fits perfectly for this car, which is super awesome. That's why I love Honda. This cost me like $12 just for the 2 pairs at the junkyard. So I saved myself like $100, and all it took was just a bit of jerry rigging, and it fit perfectly. So I'm just gonna end off the video. There's still a couple more things I want to do to the car, or they're kind of big things because I'm trying to prepare the car for a paint job later in the next year coming up. So be on the lookout for those next couple videos. I hope this video really helped you guys out, because it definitely really helped me out figuring this out. And save money, man. Save money.